Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Office Hours with Jess. In the spirit of sort of it being the end of the academic year and a lot of people having to move away or move out of their current apartments, dorms, housing, whatnot, I wanted to focus this week's video on minimalism and kind of how I've learned to embody this over the past couple of years and how much happier it has made me. So it has always been a goal of mine to just have less stuff and be more minimalistic with my belongings. And this is a goal that I've had, for a while, because I feel like when I was younger, I loved keeping things. I was like that person who would hold on to their ticket stubs, like always bought souvenirs everywhere and just collected a lot of stuff. And then as I started progressing and moved across the country for grad school and had to move almost every year or two, I realized that having a lot of stuff is very difficult and it's just a lot to manage. So over the years, I've acquired some sort of practices for myself that I've honed to get to where I am now, to where I do think I am much more minimalistic than I was before. And it comes in two parts. First is resisting the urge of buying things, and two, being very comfortable throwing things away. And today I'm going to be covering both of those things. So first I'll talk about, again, resisting that urge and not buying things when you don't need to. There's a book that sort of inspired me to really sharpen my spending habits and my buying habits. And it's this book called The Year of Less. I found it on Libby, another app I can talk about another time. And I only read through the first half because I kind of got everything I wanted out of it reading the first half. But the key takeaway that I got from this book is that, it's good to sort of keep track of your spending and what you buy. And in doing that, it's sort of an organized way to make sure that you're not buying things you don't want to. One of the things that it talks about is creating shopping rules for yourself. I'm not going to read through all of these. You can pause and look at them yourself if you like, but these are the shopping rules that I've created for myself. So the book talks about sort of what things should be on your allowed to shop for list, as well as the not allowed to shop for list, and creating these rules for yourself that you can kind of follow and stick to. And when you're kind of tempted to buy something, you can always refer back to this to make sure you're really only buying things that you need. So for me, those items are obviously groceries, my soap when I run out of it. Gifts for other people are always allowed, again, because that's for someone else. And then, obviously if something breaks, you can replace that. And things for me that are on my okay list are workout clothes, obviously, because I do a lot of working out. And, so when things are not worn and torn, it's okay to replace those, as well as books. I always think things that enhance your intellect or your brain power are always okay to buy. And then here's my list of things I don't want to buy. Funny thing on there is I put makeup that I don't need, because there was a phase where every time I would walk by a Sephora, I would buy a new lip color. And now I just have 10 different shades of red lipstick that I never wear anymore because I'm always wearing a mask. So that's something that, I think is important to, again, I identify what your maybe shopping weaknesses are if you want to kind of reel that in. And then another thing that I started doing that I think the book recommended, or I maybe have inferred from the book, was that I started tracking, what I spend my money on. So I literally just have this as a running doc in my OneNote note organizing thing that I use for myself to track things. And then every day I just write down, okay, what did I buy today? What did I spend money on? I don't keep track of groceries because that gets to be too much, but anything kind of outside of groceries, what am I buying? And spending money on. And I kind of keep track of that every day. And then alongside of that, I also track what I buy. Because as you can see, on this list, it's a lot of things like flights, presents for other people. But if I actually purchase something like an item, I will try to keep track of what that is. And again, write it down and how much I spent on it. And I found that this act of just every day reflecting on, okay, how much money did I spend? What did I buy? And just writing it down is like sort of a reflective piece for me and just keeps track of stuff. And also, like, I do want to note that, you're probably listening to me like, oh my God, this girl's like ridiculous and so stringent on herself. Like, she doesn't like to have any fun. Well, I do say I only follow these rules like maybe 90% of the time. I do believe that retail therapy is a real thing. So when there is something that you just really want, you should buy it. Like, look at how happy I am. I hope my Zoom face, let me drag it to the other side, isn't blocking how happy I am when I got this baby Yoda, and I actually bought two of them so I could have one on each coast. So there are certain things you definitely should still splurge on, and keep that in mind. All right. Again, a few other tips. I already mentioned the first one, but the second one, again, if you're unsure if you want to buy something, just wait a few days. And if you still want it, then you get it. That's kind of what I always do, like kind of pause and be like, okay, do I really want this? And if you're still thinking about it, if you're still thinking about that new shade of red lip color at Sephora in 3 days, then you can go buy it. Another thing I like to do is I just like ask around to see if I can borrow something. Like if I just need a little bit of like tape or glue, I don't know, just like something. I try to ask around some of my friends just to prevent having to buy like a whole bunch of something when I only need a little bit of it. Also, when in doubt, you can usually return things. I'm pretty bad when it comes to really stretching return policies and returning things when I've changed my mind. But I usually, that's kind of one thing, like if I'm unsure if I want something else, just buy it and know that, okay, if I need to return this, I can. So now on to the second part, which is throwing things away. So this is something that I have learned to really love doing, like literally the act of like throwing away, even just like when I'm done using a box of Kleenex, it is just the box left and being able to throw that box away. I feel so happy. Like there's just something about me tossing things into the trash that brings me so much joy. And that was before I read this book, which I'm sure you all are very aware of, very popular book. But this book does talk about how my key takeaway is that it says that like people who have gone through this process of tidying up with Marie Kondo, like they felt literally lighter in their like internally, and like would like end like bad marriages, or like pivot to their final, like find the inspiration to finally pursue their career goals. Like I don't know, like that kind of like uplifting feeling of like not having a lot of stuff. And I think that's what I really like buy into from this book, and have really embodied as well, which is why I love throwing things away. And I'm about to show you kind of like how this can be very like, I know people, I feel like some people have a hard time letting go of things, and I just find a lot of joy in, throwing things away. And here's a funny example of this being played out. So I do this every time I come over to Harry's apartment. I will go through his little area of food, because this is just like chaotic mess. Anyway, why do you just have these like empty Ziplocs?
To reuse them. It's good for the environment.
But they're dirty. I don't know. Can I throw this away?
No.
Ugh. Okay. You need to eat these. What is this? Can I throw this away? Are you gonna eat this instant oatmeal? I haven't seen you eat oatmeal in like a year.
I might. You don't know.
Oh. But again, kind of overall, if you can, learn to, live with a little less, I think overall it's a great way to stay organized and again, feel a little bit lighter on the inside.